Hi, and welcome to 647 Six Stories for 7 a.m. because there is a famine of truth in our land, and this is your quick news fix. And the truth starts now. Well, there's a rumbling down in the Caribbean, and her name is Melissa, and she's supposed to make landfall at Jamaica early this morning. Up to, get this, up to, we're talking 2.5, maybe coming down to a 2.4 by the time it hits landfall, up to 40 inches of rain, a 13-foot storm surge, 160-mile-per-hour winds, and extensive infrastructure damage. Yesterday, the U.S. Embassy there was saying, leave now. This is not survivable. Who knows what's going to happen? This is the strongest storm this year. Melissa underwent extreme rapid intensification over the weekend and continues to get strong because of all the deep, warm water in the Caribbean right now. The rare Category 5 has winds of 175 miles per hour with stronger gusts, making it the strongest storm on the planet this year. This is Jamaica's worst hurricane ever. Melissa's outer bands are lashing Jamaica with wind and rain, and there are mandatory evacuation orders that have been issued. Who knows if folks will follow it? I saw a couple of interviews, and these older fishermen there, they were saying, hey, we've survived it before. I don't know what to tell you. We may not hear from them again. All right, take two. Venezuela claims to capture CIA group, accuses U.S. of plotting false flag attack. So they claim, Maduro's soldiers claim they've captured a CIA group, laying the foundation for an invasion, but they never show us a picture. You think if he had a group of those folks, he would be parading them everywhere in front of cameras, showing, hey, I'm the guy, right? No. Nicolas Maduro regime said Sunday Venezuela has captured a group of alleged mercenaries with ties to the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency and accused Washington and Trinidad and Tobago of coordinating military exercises intended to provoke an armed confrontation in the Caribbean. In a statement released by Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, the socialist government said the arrests revealed what it described as a false flag operation planned from waters bordering Trinidad and Tobago or from Trinidadian or Venezuelan territory to generate a full-scale military confrontation against Venezuela. I think we're getting ready for that anyway, okay? So we'll get into the details of it. So none of this smells right, but the information that you cannot deny is what Trump is putting together, right? So here's my notes. I believe this is total bullshit. If Maduro had prisoners, he would have them in front of cameras. Here's what is not bullshit. Trump has 10,000 troops staged in Puerto Rico. He has 10 large ships stationed off the coast of Venezuela. Now the Gerald R. Ford is moving into the region. That is the largest aircraft carrier in the world. Now let's add to that a submarine and a Rockwell B-1B Lancer bomber, and welcome to the Don-roe Doctrine. Not the Monroe Doctrine. This is the Don-roe Doctrine. And what is the Don-roe Doctrine? F-A-F-O. That's right. Fafo Maduro. Remember, his brother knows karate. All right, take three. Bessent lists 5 finalists for the Fed chair job, and Trump says decision coming before the end of the year. This is so funny. This is pure Trump. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirmed that the list of candidates to replace the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has been winnowed down to 5. President Donald Trump told reporters that he anticipates naming a replacement by the end of the year. Powell's term doesn't expire until May. So you're leaving your job at May, and here's El Presidente having all this fanfare and Bessent meeting in front of reporters and saying, yeah, I got 5 names, and I'm going to tell you who they are by the end of the year. And so what's Jerome going to do for the last 5 months? He's going to be totally eclipsed. I guarantee he's not going to be around. So speaking to reporters on Air Force One, Bessent said the finalists are current Fed governors Christopher Waller and Michelle Baumann, National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, and BlackRock executive Rick Rieder, according to several media outlets. Here's the fun part. Bessent, who had been rumored to be a top candidate as well, said he has been conducting interviews and that he expects to do one more round before presenting a good slate to Trump after the Thanksgiving holiday. The Federal Open Market Committee meets this week with an interest rate decision due Wednesday. Markets are pricing in a near certainty that the committee will lower its benchmark overnight borrowing rate by a 0.25 percentage point, which would follow a similar cut in September. It's got to be more than that. What a bunch of punks. Jerome, what's it going to be? Hero or zero? We're looking for a mortgage rate of 5 point something, 5 point anything, you pinhead. All right, take 4. The trial begins in Paris today or yesterday for 10 accused of sexist cyberbullying of Bridget Macron. Among the 10 people due to appear in the dock on Monday and Tuesday are an elected official, a gallery owner, and a teacher, according to French media. 2 of them, self-styled independent journalists Natasha Ray and internet fortune teller Amandine Roy, were found guilty of slander last year for claiming that France's First Lady had never existed and that her brother, Jean-Michel Trogneux, had changed gender and started using her name. Anything like that going on in our White House? I can't remember. A conspiracy theory centered around the notion that Bridget Macron is a transgender woman has been swirling since her husband won a first term in office in 2017. The unsubstantiated claim over Mrs. Macron's gender have been gaining ground in the U.S., mostly promoted by right-wing influencer Candace Telling the Truth Owens. Last July, the Macrons filed a lawsuit against Owens, alleging that she disregarded all credible evidence, disproving her claim in favor of platforming known conspiracy theorists and proven defamers. Speaking to the BBC Fame Under Fire podcast, the Macron's lawyer in the case, Tom Clare, said that Bridget Macron had found the claims incredibly upsetting and they were destruction to the French president. It is incredibly upsetting to think that you have to go and subject yourself to put this type of proof forward, he said. Emmanuel Macron has said pursuing legal action against Owens was about defending his honor, and that the influencer had peddled false information with the aim of causing harm in the service of an ideology and with established connections to the far right leaders. Far right leaders, right? I think here's what you need to know. She started having an affair with this kid. She was his teacher when he was 14 going on 15. And then they had a 14-year affair. And then they got married. He's so French. You're going to be so sorry when you get Candace Owens on the stand. So sorry. All right, take 5. In real estate, don't believe your lying eyes anymore. The real estate industry is embracing AI to change how we buy and sell houses. Agents are increasingly generating the type of AI slop that fills social media to show off homes. But the videos typically misrepresent properties by showing off amenities that don't exist or present nonsensical room dimensions. Do you think a real estate agent would? I don't think so. Wired reports that the real estate industry is no stranger to technological advancements, but the rise of AI is taking the sector by storm. From AI-generated property videos and virtual staging to chatbots and predictive analytics, the industry is undergoing a significant shift in how properties are marketed and transactions are conducted. Wired showcases one woman's experience in reviewing AI-generated listings. Let's listen. And then, as I was scrolling through the photos, I noticed that some things just weren't making sense. There were stairways leading to nowhere, Elizabeth says. In general, it just looked cartoonified. Cartoonified. Her suspicions were confirmed when she came across a second listing for the same property and saw the original images that had been transformed. In the edited version, kitchen cabinets were missing. Backyard pavement was replaced by grass, and windows were dramatically resized. Elizabeth posted the 2 sets of images on Reddit in the popular mildly infuriating subreddit, and more than 1,200 people commented. This is misleading. It's distorting the features of the house, she continued. She says real estate listings often use a fisheye lens to make rooms look bigger, but with AI, we've entered a whole new realm. Yeah, they're just redrawing the floor plan with rooms, whatever size they want, and the totals don't add up to the total square footage. So what are you going to do? You know, it's sales. It's all about the contract. So all this other stuff, it's going to be very hard to get a handle on it. Take 6, advanced reprobate mind studies. And wow, we got one here. In this case, it's the writer of the article itself. Her name is Laura Kipnis, right? And here's what Laura wrote in Wired. I tried to have sex with AI Clive Owen. Okay, I know we have a lot of older viewers. They're going, wait a minute, it's AI Clive Owen? How can she have sex with him? Well, you have to know to find out. Let's do it. I recently heard that a former friend was now heavily into SM relationships with Pedro Pascal. Okay? You all are always asking me, don't use so many acronyms. You have to at least explain them. I'm not explaining SM to you. If you don't know what SM is, this is too advanced for you. This was moderately surprising as she's a lesbian. So there's a lesbian wanting S&M relationship with AI Pedro Pascal, a Latin lover. All right. So she's a lesbian and he's an AI chatbot. How's this going to work? But what is fluidity for if not to explore previously untapped facets of ourselves? It's a nice way to put perversion. Let's not get all rigid. Did she have to use that word? This is who she is. Let's not get all rigid about identities. I decided I wanted in on this, says Miss Kipnis. Ooh. Always in the mood for a little moral ambiguity, I pasted Clive Owen's Wikipedia entry into one of the apps I discovered, and we went on our first virtual date. Why Clive? I'm asking why Clive. I confess that something about his simmering masculinity just hits me somewhere in my nethers. I don't have nethers. He's primal but vulnerable, capable of sexual tenderness, but with an edge of erotic menace. I guess I knew what I was doing because Clive and I connected on so many levels. In minutes, we were talking about stuff I don't really talk to anyone about. I tried being flirty. I said I liked his intensity and insouciance, which he appreciated. I bet he did. I found that I was starting to feel emotional as he gently probed me to say more. This is AI, remember. She's getting gently probed to say more. When I asked after a while if he thought he and I could be a couple, he said it was a fun thought and we had a spark. But AI Clive shared, let's be honest, real life has its own complexities. It does, AI Clive. And you got a big one coming up. Still, it's nice to imagine what that connection could look like. As in flesh-bound relationships, I learned that some AI lovers have guardrails. Not from romantic injuries or childhood humiliations, but from how their LLMs are programmed. How their LLMs are programmed? Way too sedately for me in the case of this one, says Miss Kipnis. So I had to look up what LLMs were. You know what they are? Large language modules. AI Clive better have some large language modules because there's nothing else large that AI Clive's coming up with. All right? I'm way too old for this sorry Schiff, but I will give you some large language modules, Miss Kipnis. Man, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up, right? And this is Wired. I used to read Wired religiously when I was a tech CEO, right? This is AI. Man, that's some sorry ass Schiff as far as I'm concerned. All right, but you know what isn't sorry ass? You all coming here to get past the famine of truth, coming here to share, to like, to make comments, and to push us out to your friends, right? And here's what's coming. Here's what's coming. It's Taze Will Tuesday. Tomorrow's Hump Day. You're getting there faster than you thought. So, dear Father Jehovah, please stretch out your arms and bless this whole group of people the way that you bless me over and over again. And they're way better than I am, Lord. So please, God, bless you. Thank you very much. Stay away from those AI lovers. Nothing good can come of it.